Tickling, what comes to mind? Probably laughter, kids playing, a bit of harmless fun, right? But what if I told you that for most of human history, tickling wasn't seen as funny at all? In fact, it was considered dangerous, a punishment, and even a form of torture. This seemingly innocent act hides a dark and fascinating history that has obsessed philosophers, doctors, and psychologists for centuries. So, why does something that makes us laugh also trigger such a strong sense of panic? Why is it that the laughter we produce when being tickled feels so different from genuine, joyful laughter? And how does the entire experience flip from playful to terrifying the second we feel like we can't get away? This strange mix of pleasure and fear is what makes tickling so unique. It's a physical sensation that reveals a deep contradiction in our own minds. Today, we're going to explore the secret history of the tickle. This isn't just about a silly game. It's a serious human phenomenon that tells us a lot about ourselves. We'll travel back to the ancient world to see why thinkers like Plato and Aristotle were so suspicious of it. They believed that the uncontrollable laughter from being tickled was a sign that we were losing our reason, our self-control, and that it was proof that we weren't as rational as we thought. Then, we'll dive into the darker side of tickling. We'll look at historical accounts where it was used as a brutal form of punishment, designed to break a person's will without leaving a single mark. It sounds bizarre, but the psychological torment was very real. The body is laughing, but the mind is screaming for it to stop. It's a neural battle between pleasure and panic. So the next time you see someone getting tickled, remember, you're not just watching a game, you're witnessing a complex neurological and historical paradox playing out in real time. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the strange side of history. To understand tickling, we have to start in the ancient world, where laughter itself was treated with suspicion. In ancient Greece, philosophers like Plato and Aristotle didn't see laughter as innocent joy. They believed it was a moment where reason failed and emotion took over. And tickling became a perfect example of this loss of control. You could be calm, intelligent, and disciplined, yet the moment someone touched you in the right way, your body betrayed you with uncontrollable laughter. Aristotle wrote that tickling happened when touch overwhelmed the rational mind, revealing how fragile human self-mastery really was. Even then, people noticed something crucial. Tickling only worked when it came from someone else, and only when the person being tickled couldn't fully stop it. That made tickling less about humor and more about power. The Romans understood this well. While they loved comedy and spectacle, they also used tickling deliberately as humiliation. When you step back and look at the long, strange history of tickling, it stops being a small or silly subject and starts looking like a mirror. Tickling shows us how easily laughter can be separated from joy, how quickly play can turn into panic, and how deeply our bodies respond to power and control before our minds can catch up. Across centuries, philosophers worried about it because it exposed a crack in human rationality. Doctors studied it because it bypassed conscious thought, and societies used it because it forced a reaction without leaving a mark. Even today, tickling still carries that same tension. It can be affectionate, cruel, bonding, humiliating, comforting, or terrifying, depending entirely on consent and context. That's why it makes people uncomfortable to talk about seriously, because it reminds us that not all laughter is voluntary, and not all smiles mean happiness. In the end, tickling isn't really about humor at all. It's about vulnerability, trust, and the thin line between pleasure and loss of control. And maybe that's why, thousands of years later, we still laugh the same way, breathless, helpless, and unable to fully explain why our own bodies betray us.